Mahesh Narayanan has been in the news for his upcoming multistarrer, packed with the who's who of the industry, including Mohanlal, Mammootty, Fahad Fazil, Kunjako Boban, Darshana Rajendran, Zareen Shihab, and Nayantara. The ambitious venture is also being shot across the globe, with 6 schedules wrapped up in Delhi, Sri Lanka, Baku, and Sharjah, and more to go in Kochi, Hyderabad, and the UK. Narayanan was on a quick visit to the Cinevesture International Film Festival and the Cinevi markets in Chandigarh for conversations on the contemporary Malayalam cinema. For the new episode of the Nuanced podcast, I caught up with him for a chat by the buzzing poolside of the Hyatt Centric Hotel. Apart from his upcoming film, Narayanan spoke about how Malayalam cinema gained visibility during the pandemic, about how filmmakers there are giving up on templated filmmaking to experiment more and more with form. More so, he said that the film should not be made as pan Indian but should organically become pan Indian. Do listen to what more he has to say. So I'll begin with some which you would have been talked to and questioned about a lot, and you must be sick of answering it also. But I can't not help bring it up, which is the big project. How many years in the making in your head?
No, it is. This has been like pre-started 2 years before, and now it is on flows. So I'm halfway through. So it will be again. I'm planning to release this year only. The film this year only. So
And it is called right now tentatively.
no,
And
no, that is we have not put any title and all. This is a working title, which is not title is not decided yet.
But with this kind of a cast, that you have on hand. I mean, and I'm not just talking about Mohanlal, Mammootty, or Fahad. You also have Darshana. You have
Nayantara.
Nayantara is there, and you have
Kunjako
Kunjako
Boban.
Boban is also there. My thing is, it must have been insane to pull the dates together.
See, primarily this is a project which me and Fahad were very ambitious about for doing for a long time period. Unfortunately, he couldn't come as a producer because I really wanted him to be as a part of a producer because he mounted it first. But later, because of so many reasons, different producers are on board, who are the same producers of my previous films also, Take Off and Malik and all. So now the thing is, I am making my own film the way which I like to make the film. So I'm happy that I could get associated with these people because I worked with Fahad and worked with all the other people. But I mean Chakochar and all. But now I'm Darshan and all. But now I'm working with the other senior lot. So I'm so happy.
And I think Zareen Shihab is also.
Zareen is playing a vital role.
Okay, she's also there. And one schedule you have shot in Sri Lanka.
No, we have done almost like because it's a slightly bigger film, like not the way which because I always try to push my boundaries, so this we have almost completed six. I mean, almost 6 schedules are gone now, so we have done with the Delhi. Now I have left a whole chunk of Kochi schedule and then Hyderabad, and then I have small portions in UK. Then I'm done with the film.
Okay. And so, which are the spots? I mean, Sri Lanka is
So
one.
Sri Lanka is is one location, and then we had Delhi. Delhi is the primary location of this film, and then UK, and then we shot in Baku, and some portions in the Middle East also, Sharjah, and all. And then now we have some interior portions left in Kochi, and then uh, moving on to Hyderabad, and then I have a small bit in UK, which will be the last. Yeah.
And are you in any position to tell us what it's about?
I think it's not. It's an early stage, so because the title is also not announced yet, and also it's a very early stage, Namrata. So I think it's a.
But say what kind of what
It's
kind
it's my way of film only, like the way of film. What I do, inspired from various things and all. That's the only thing. But but it's very early stage now.
So this is this is the biggest budgeted film.
No, I think Emperor is the most. See, it is not about the budget if we are making films, but it is about the way which we want it. Like I I I was because I wanted to make a film with Mamuga for a longer time period, and we were in talks for many films. But the thing is, this is the film which I wanted to make, and also Fahad also wanted to be a part of this film. So then Chakochan, of course, because and then Lalsar came because it was I was very ambitious, and I just tried one thing, like, and he was so happy, like, when I approached him, and he said yes very fast. And then I'm happy that they are working after 18 years.
And
So
all of them have equal weightage, kind of.
it is. See, my characters have a definite arc for everybody. If you look at take any film, so this is like that kind of film only. It is like, that in that manner, everybody is equally spaced and everything. And then ultimately, when the film comes up, it has got a social value also. So to talk also.
For someone like me, I
Hmm.
mean, who has been aware of Malayalam
Hmm.
cinema, primarily the art house,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Malayalam cinema represented by
Hmm.
the likes of Adur sir
Hmm.
and others. I mean, am I right to say, I mean, or is it just a fanciful way of looking at things? But to the world at large,
Hmm.
there is a pre-COVID Malayalam cinema and a
Hmm.
post-COVID
Hmm.
Malayalam
Hmm.
cinema.
Hmm.
Can we see that as a
Because that is because of the platforms. Because platforms started identifying films after the pandemic. Actually, I mean, not after the pandemic, during the pandemic, actually. So a lot of my friends who I used to work, I used to edit in Bombay and all. They started revisiting our films, and then they say, "Oh, this is a film which you guys made in that time period, and this is a film. Okay, it was an interesting film." Because I see a lot of recall value for Kumbalangi Nights, a lot of other lots of films. So my perspective is now that it is not that we see films are not made like pan Indian. It should become pan Indian. Like, it should like eventually it should be a natural process. It should be an organic process. It should not be like, let's make something pan Indian. There is nothing like that which has been made. And I'm thankful to these platforms because they gave us this visibility. Like, so what phase which Malayalam cinema is going through right now, that is all thanks to all the platforms, actually. They did some daring experiments in picking up some great content, and which I wish they could actually sustain. But end of the day, they are also corporates where, where they also have a lot of backlash. And so now we are in testing waters, when it's every industry, like, even Bollywood is having a problem with like platform shrinking. And now some of these direct to streaming is gone. And I still believe in cinema has to be viewed in theatrical, in a theater, in a collective viewing stuff. But end of the day, it has to be like, what to say, these both these streams should be mutual. Like, it should coexist. That coexistence is the factor which we are really looking forward, like, but of course there are other distribution terms. Now that association has come up with a rule that you can't give the film within so and so dates. Like, earlier there used to be, during the pandemic, there was a 2 weeks rule, 28 days rule. Now it has gone to 42 days and all. So this and regulations and all. So thankfully, some film, but a lot of other films are not being heard also. Like, that is also there. Like, out of some 80 films, I'm not talking about the 200 films being censored every year, but out of 80 films which has some kind of quality, out of that, at least 15 will make into these kind of platforms. The rest, see, there are many films which are running only in festivals. I'm not seeing in any of these platforms. See films like Don Palatra's films. They're not getting any kind of venues also. So those kind of films have. So there should be some platforms also coming up saying that, okay, even if it's a small amount of money, they should actually invest on these kind of films also, so that, people, they will also get. Apparently, I think slowly it will come. But now, now, now theatrical is what people are all aiming at. Yeah, that's the phase now.
In my case, I was also kind of it also came from this point where during COVID, a lot of us discovered, quote unquote, a lot of
Yeah,
great
yeah,
Malayalam films. And my friends used to say that, it's not something new.
correct.
It has been happening all the
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
and the mainstream Malayalam cinema is what is the so-called middle of the road cinema, which we have not known of. And suddenly, a flurry of the films, and we kind of started connecting to it. So what we are seeing now is something which has been happening for a long while, right?
Um, I can't say like that, because there was a time period from, I think, mid of 90s to end of 2000, 8 and 9 and all, like, where they were like, very comic, like very slapstick kind of contents were always coming up, and then soft porn contents were coming up, and because there was a space where, where Malayalam cinema was not doing that well, because I think that is because that is the involvement of television, too much involvement of television, and people started reacting to certain content where, where okay, entertainment means laughter, entertainment means this kind of now. So entertainment for me, the definition always comes as engaging. Anything which is engaging is that is what which defines entertainment. So there was a time period when this is the time period when I was also starting as an editor in 2005, and also that those days parallel cinema a completely different world where, where you hardly find it in only there is a venue in Doordarshan where, where if at all the film gets screened in Panorama, or like those days I think uh, 5 or 6 films every year of Malayalam cinema will be there, because they didn't have any kind of other avenues, because there was only few satellite networks who were picking films. They were also not interested in these kind of films. So now, so visibility was very poor. Now, with all these kind of now even if you look at some platforms, they are actually taking films for pay-per-view. So in a way, producers are also gaining some kind of money so that they get some kind of visibility. So that phase is always shifting. See, now when you say okay, violence is the new trend. When you say like one animal is being produced in the, I'm not against those kind of films. Those kind of films are always needed for the industry to sustain. So every industry will have that turn also. Like Malayalam also has like is discovering that kind of films also. And those films are also, what is finding so interesting is there was a time period when cinema was only functioning through conventional norms, like very template. Like I also after a point I also used to sit and chat with my fellow filmmakers saying that I feel that I'm editing the same film again and again, because whatever content I'm getting, I get the beats same. Like after the 5th minute one introduction scene will come, then there will be a song, then there will be this beat, then there will be that. So that was this Excel sheet way of filmmaking. That is gone now. That is gone. That is why people are experimenting with genres. Now we don't know, like a film like Manjumel Boys is also working. A film like Ishkinda Kandam is working, and a film very successful, like in a very blockbuster films are also running. So this is there is that bandwidth is good now. That so existence is good now.
But what do you think is the strength of cinema from Kerala? And particularly like the way it reached out after COVID.
I think it is the local nature of the films, because that is the truth, essential part, because it is not a see, some people were saying ultra realistic or realism and all, but I feel all these realistic films are dramatic films only. There is no realism. Like, whatever we speak in real life has enough drama. So when you root your characters to locally set the characters in a terrain, and then you understand the ethos and everything. That was there much earlier, like during the 80s and early 90s. That used to be there always. But now, that is what later it got scattered because of the point that film used to discuss. That is because of the certain norms. Because when you say there is a formula, like okay, this film ran because of these many reasons, so let's try that again, so now filmmakers are not doing that. They also don't want to repeat their own way of filmmaking. There is no template, like just like when Bombay has a template of a certain production house has that are their own template. Okay, this production house will have this Ghana number, this will be there. So here directors are trying to get it out of the system, saying that okay, why can't I try this way? Why can't I try this manner? So that is
And what do you think is still an issues? Still the issues with the
issue in the sense like see, being a smaller industry, the backlash happens so quick in Malayalam. So because like say when you say okay, oh, platforms are not buying our films, it is everywhere. Like it is, even if it's in Bombay, people are not buying any films. Even if it's in Tamil Nadu, people are not buying films. So the problem, what happens is, see, since it's a smaller industry, we rely upon a lot of money from them. because when you calculate about the overall business, because end of the day, that is one factor which I have to address, because nowadays filmmakers are getting more what to say responsible in Malayalam, because they want their films to be, even if it's a parallel cinema, like I'm not talking about parallel cinema, even it's a midstream cinema or into art house cinema, they don't want to they want the film to make the money. They don't want to put the producer in that much stress that he or she is not coming back and producing next film. So they want to sustain that, so that they are trying every avenues. So in that manner, when some backlash happens, this industry affects so early stages. So like earlier days, when film was there, like our shooting ratio was 1:3, 1:4 and all. So, it will be so when somebody is shooting in a ratio of 1:6 and 7, then that means it's a luxurious project. Nowadays, that ratio is varying, but the thing is that we can't afford. Some films are kept in such a manner that okay, we can restrict in this kind of budget. We can restrict the crew. We can restrict the locations, everything. So those things are regulated now, and also the challenge in terms of financial challenge is one thing regarding the distribution things. Also, another thing is like what people in Kerala feel is that theatrically also people are not that desperate to come to watch a film in theaters, because as you said, there are many other venues, they should have the people are always looking into what is the core USP. Why should I come and watch this? As a normal audience, why should I come and watch this film in the theater? There should be a selling point, reason for that, and that is when you say the template formats, or the when a filmmaker repeats the same thing again and again, they are tired. So and so that is where I'm the when you say trend, or when you say form, or content, it keeps on changing in Malayalam. So nowadays this theory of whether content is should be superior or form should be superior, there's a huge debate always going on. And so now people are also trying to experiment with forms, where new forms are also being received very well, like in terms of the way you shoot, way you light, way you create scenes. People are also aware about it. Okay, and that predictability nature, they want to get it out of the system. Okay, they don't want to predict. Don't want the audience to predict what is going to happen next. They want that unpredictability to be there.
But one thing, tell me, like, unlike, say, the Telugu or the Tamil film industry, where alliances with Bombay are easily negotiated.
Yeah.
I don't think that can happen with Kerala, or can it?
No, that is because, see, the primary reason is, they are the film viewing culture in Telugu is far superior than any other industry in India, because that is the only industry which survived during COVID times. Because that is the only because see, I will tell you a small example. Kerala was the first place to shut the theaters and reopen the theaters. The last place to reopen the theaters. The first place to shut the theaters, the last place to reopen the theaters, and the last place to uh, what to say, get away from this 50% occupancy. That came much later. So if you just if you take an analytical example of Telugu industry, that is the only industry where theaters survived for a longer time period during the pandemic. Because the film viewing culture is still there. It is not about going into watching sensible cinema or art, but film every Friday, every weekend they have to go and watch a film. So that is there in there. That is an audience perspective. So they here what happens is, when so for that reason alone, they get that visibility more with the budgets and everything. They can scale it up. They can do in whatever, and also there is a collaboration of actors coming from Bombay acting in Telugu, and say if you look at all the villains, or the like how they make these pan Indian things, like you pick an actor from Bombay, you pick an actor from Tamil, you pick an actor from, but there are hardly Malayalam actors being cast. Only there is one Fahad Fasil repeated again and again in many of the Tamil and Telugu films, because of his likability in various areas. Like it's not only in the theatrical arena, but also in the streaming arena. But hardly Malayalam actors. See, now these days Jojo is getting an opportunity because of his likability. But there are talented like Kunja Goban is very talented, but he's not been that much received into that kind of. I wish after this film called Officer on Duty, which came after from Martin Prakash's production after Nayata, like I wish he should also have that kind of visibility, and also heroines like actors, like actors, like it's about like it's not like even for character roles. I'm feeling that Kani should have got more visibility. But Kani is getting visibility on in terms of what to say,
The festivals.
festival films, and also some small character roles in series and everything. Nimisha is apparently getting some kind of visibility now these days because she was superb in Daba Gatal, and now she's getting more visibility there. Now, I often feel other people are very. There are more. There is a whole huge talent house back in Kerala where they and also technicians are being used. See, DOPs are being used from Malayalam. Art directors are going, but directors are always happy to be in Malayalam because of the freedom what they get. Actually,
True. But tell me one last question, which was, we read about it last year, about how the, producers are saying that the industry hasn't been doing well. Well, on the other hand, we did see films kind of, doing really well. I wanted to understand that dynamic. What came about? Because, we heard the great success of Manju Male Boys and all. And yet then the year in the news was that the industry has not been able to.
See, that is everywhere. If you look at take any industry, but the problem with Malayalam industry is, see, that is what. See, out of 220 films or 230 films being censored, because when I started editing in 2004 and 5 and all, that time it was 60 to 70 films being censored a year. So now it is more than 200 plus. So these many films can't survive in a theatrical circle in Kerala. And like out of these 250 films, how many films are getting a release in Tamil Nadu or Andhra or anywhere? And hardly these films are picked up by platforms. So they come with this idea that okay, revenue will be generated from so and so territories, but finally end up in a loss when when as an us when producers are forming a union, they having an association, when they feel that okay, out of these films, these are the total number of films which succeeded, which is actually true, which is when you look back in every industry, the same scenario. If you look at Bombay, if you look at Tamil Nadu, it's the same scenario. But when in terms of, but they are able to recover it in some way or the other through streaming or through other rights, other language rights, or their overseas rights are good. But here it is limited now, so that is the reason why producers are always saying that okay, people are praising, but the other side is also
monetary translation.
Yeah.
Any films that you've seen of late which you'd like to recommend, something which is coming from the Malayalam industry which we should
see
look
most
out
of
for?
most of the filmmakers now do what. See, this year there was a film called Kishkinda Kanda, which was a surprise hit, and it was beautifully written by a first time writer, and he's a cinematographer. So I'm seeing a cinematographer writer credit after a long time in Malayalam cinema. So I really like that film. And then it's see a film like that is also working. A film like Adajividam is also working. A film like Manjumal Boys is also working, and a film like Turbo is also working. So in a way, it is every like these kind of films. See, no matter what kind of genre we are putting to people, but like people are ready to watch. It is not about actors anymore. It is about the content and like Malayalam cinema has this thing where when you release the first, I mean, I'm not talking about the first look or the first title or first glimpse of the film, but the moment you see some kind of newness in that, some new voice, some kind of freshness in that audience picks it up. They know that very well. Okay, this is going to be something new, and you will see that in the initial days of collection. So now these days there is a film called Rekha Chitram, which opened surprisingly well. So we are also studying because the earlier days before. So I have to tell you one more thing. Before pandemic, there was a time period when when we evaluate the collection on basis of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. Monday, how much did a film comes? So on an average basis, Malayalam, what is happening lately, of late, after the pandemic, is that This Monday dip is so drastic. Monday dip is so drastic when that is because people feel that okay, let us wait, and how well it performs. Let's see. So to sustain that, you have to give little more time, like till the Wednesday or the Thursday, next Thursday, till that time period, a distributor or an exhibitor should sustain that film. That sustainability is not possible because there is a lineup is there because of so many content, so many films. So that we can't regulate that because everybody, yeah, it's a free because everybody has the access to make films. So so out of that race, only 20 films succeeds. So and these out of these 20 films, 15 films are only in the platforms, and out of these 15 films, the outside Kerala people just like the visibility is for 10 films or maximum 12 films.
Yeah, got it. So this is the film now that you're directing and you're producing, Shalini.
Yeah, that is actually we are actually Shalini is writing one film for me, which is still in talks and developments and all. So that is one film which we are doing together, and then I have one more production with the same producer of Aripa, which we are producing together, and which is with this Arjun Ashok in this, and directed by a guy called Akhil, who directed a film in that Freedom Fight. So that is one film which is coming out.
Nice. So lots to look
Yeah,
forward
yeah,
to.
yeah.